Okay, let us start. Sure, the mic is on. Let's do 3 Oms and Sadhana Avatu and Guru Stotram. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhidamastu mavid vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpatham Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Yaptam, Yatkim Chissacharacharam, Tatpadam Darsitam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Madeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. Welcome back for those who came second time. Okay, last time we were discussing about the 4 Ds, the discrimination, the dispassion, the discipline and desire. And we need to know what is that we have to use the discrimination, because our goal is we want to be happy, we want to be absolutely happy, and we want to be happy now, not future, because future never comes, right? So in India they used to have today crash today, tomorrow credit, because they know tomorrow is never comes. So every time you have to pay cash. So they didn't accept credit. So it's a today happiness, tomorrow you can have all other problems. So today is happiness we want. Today is this hour, this time, this second, this microsecond, this where we are there, and even time transcends, so we are happy, should be happy all the time. So to recognize, to understand or to realize that state of oneness where I am happy all the time, absolutely happy, we have to go through the discipline because my mind is running around. So we said as an exercise of first 3 exercises, Ashtanga gave an exercises, first thing in the morning, recognize his presence there, because in order to be happy, I can be more happy when I perform the actions not for my own sake but for benefit of others. So selfless activities, I become happy because independent of the results of the action, I don't react to the results of the action. I am only acting the very action itself that I am doing right now, because I have to be happy now. So in while doing, I want to be happy, and doing it becomes happiness provided I am performing an action not for some particular result but for the benefit of the totality. So all selfless actions will give the highest happiness. There was an experiment done by a philosopher, I think a philosophy class itself, to show that where whoever acts for themselves is not that gives you that much happiness compared to when you're acting outside. So the students, philosophy students, they were not told anything. So in the middle of the class, he said, we have to stop this. I cannot have class now. We'll do something else. So we will watch a movie instead. So everybody wanted to watch movie. So he put the movie on. And when the movie is over, said, now as an exercise, tell me, were you happy about it or what you said? Everybody said, what is that which caused you happiness? Do you remember what are the scenes or something? So the question is to write down what they enjoyed. So then that was not discussed after a month or something, and everybody forgot about it. In another class, we don't have a class, regular class. We'll go somewhere and do something instead today. That's why I changed, because we're not going to have a class today. So they went, and they went to a place where the small children, where they need to help the small children. So they were involved in the project for about an hour or two, where they were each one is helping some child who needs a help, and they were so much involved in the activity. Then after says, now we have to go back. So they came back. Now write down what did you enjoy? It says, yeah, we enjoyed very well. So write down what it is. So that exercise over. Then after a couple of months, everything is forgotten. Now remember, we had two incidences. We went, one is movie, and we went also. Now can you remember of those incidences? People forgot about the movie, but everybody remembered the other incidents, because that was more fulfilling for them than the other one, which is where there is more selfish enjoyment, whereas the other one is where they were just help. There is no enjoyment there, but helping other one itself gave much more happiness for them to remember. So that experiment was indicated to say that this kind of activities will give you much more happiness than self-centered activities also. And in the self-centered activities, you want to be happy by doing it, so happiness is postponed to future, rather than because you are involved in the activities of the self. Whereas the other one, the action itself is the fulfilling. Acting itself becomes a fulfilling action where you are enjoying as you are acting. So that should be the attitude, because I want to be happy now. Not happy later, because later may not come. Later some other things may be there at that time which deprives this happiness. So therefore, indulging in selfless activities makes the mind pure enough to recognize the happiness that more stronger than, which is a result-oriented happiness. If I can't do all that, we said, at least think of the Lord. Now we are doing not for others' sake per se, but we are doing action for the Lord. So every action can be done for the Lord, even starting from a prayer on. And now, how do I bring the Lord? Say, when you are doing an activities, it's difficult for you to remember the Lord. So at least start remembering the first thing and the last thing. In the morning, first thing I start and prayer, and think of the Lord, and also in the last thing, think of the Lord before. At least we have fixed two ends of the mind, where I am not doing any activity, I am just getting up. Before I start any activity, I start thinking of the Lord. And the end of the activity, I am going to sleep, at least I can think of the Lord. Now we'll look at a little bit, since we ought to think of the Lord, who is the Lord? Where is the Lord? So we should have some idea of the Lord also. Then we can think of the Lord in whatever. So this talk is going to be a little bit more in terms of what is the Lord and who am I coming into picture in the analysis of application of Gita also to my day-to-day, because not only in the philosophical class I understand what God is, I understand as we are operating also. So how do we define a God? So when you say Rama is God, right? People say Rama is God, Krishna is God, or for us also Ishvara, the Lord Shiva is God. So everybody says this is God, that God. So many gods we have. Every temple has become a museum there, right? Everywhere you have to put namaskaram to every god, thinking that if I don't put namaskaram, this god may get angry. So just to be in the good side of his list, you want to put namaskaram to each god. So we have more gods than people maybe also. So this is, and people fight for those gods. I want only Vishnu here, not Shiva there, and I want this god and that god. So what is God? Whom should I think? So everyone is God. But when I say, for you all, those who are listening also, says think of God. Close your mind and close your eyes and think of God. When you say, then some name and some form comes to you. It is different from other people's name and other people. That comes to other people's name and other. So what I'm trying to define now, even though everyone is God, but for you, when I say God, think of a God, a particular name and form comes to your mind, and that becomes your ishta devata. God is in everywhere, every name and form. Now, when I want to think of the God in the morning and in the evening, whom should I think? I don't know any God. So if you have, say, please think of God, what kind of thing that you get? If you get sunyam, then there is a different problem. But if you think of conceptualization of some idea of what you think of God, don't try to criticize, that's not God, other fellow is God. Whatever thing that you think is God for you. So that becomes your ishta devata, and that is required for your sadhana. Now we are applying now. Right? So that form and that God is in that form thing in the morning. Now, what is that God? Then we'll come back into that. We glorify Him in terms of what He did or what it is, so that we can attribute all those attributes to that God, whomever you conceptualize, and you have a name for that God, and keep that name all the time, even when the form is not there appearing. Even when you are seeing other forms also, keep this name. I follow as a sadhana. In other words, if I say some Nama, or Krishna, or Narayana, or Lord Shiva, or whatever form that you are imagining as the Lord, not only the form, but you give a name, because the name and the form go together. So if I say name, automatically form comes. So even when I see other names also, if I project this name on top of it, then I am perceiving the presence of the Lord even in that also. So when I want to think of the Lord, first I have to have a name. So have a name as your favorite, but now keep that name as for the God as your ishta devata. Follow? God is everywhere. God is all forms too. But for me, I can picturize God in this form easily, or whenever that name comes, I can think of God, or whenever a God thought comes, I can think of Him in this form. Therefore, that form and the name becomes your ishta devata. So first thing in the morning when I am thinking of the Lord, have that form, so that I don't have any other forms there, so that mind doesn't get distracted by other forms. So have that form in the morning, and also in the night when you are going to sleep, have that form. And whatever the prayers in terms of offer everything to Him. Including junk that you have, you can offer. He takes everything, because He is a purifier. So therefore, offer everything to Him and project Him, sir, I am going to go into the world, but I want you also to be with me. So I may not recognize you, but I want, at least whenever I turn my inside, I know you are there. So as long as you are there, I can transact in the world in any way. So I get the strength because your presence is there, and He is infinite power, not an ordinary power. He is infinite power. Then I get so much superior strength by His very thinking of Him, because He is next to me, or inside me also, but at least we are now thinking in the namesake. So that is the Ishvara first. And the name has to be, anytime you are free, Anytime you are free means not involved in the day-to-day activities vigorously where your mind has to be involved. And the mind cannot think of anything else other than the activity, that because that's what has to be done for the successful of the action that you are in. At that time you cannot think of even the Lord also. You cannot think of yourself also. You are involved deeply. At that time you cannot think, but whenever you are free from all that, instead of thinking of all useless forms that only contributes nothing, only dissipating the energy, think of that name and the form comes. When you start thinking, chanting the name of the Lord, form comes automatically into the mind. Follow now, nama becomes a japa. This is a part, because whenever you are free, you can do this. So that becomes a sadhana to tune my mind to recognition of what? Of the Ishvara. So why should I recognize him? Now we go into a little bit details of what exactly Ishvara is involved and what exactly Jiva is involved. I am involved. Okay? Both have to be together in order for me to think of the Lord. So one by one we have to analyze. So for those who are exposed to the Bhagavad Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita is talking about, says, yo yo yam yam tanur bhaktaha shraddhayarchitam icchati. In whatever form you think of me, I am there. I give faith in that form only. So it is not the particular form only, this God. So any form that you can think and have a devotion that it is me, then it is me. So this is not my teaching. It's not just, it is what Krishna himself says. Etam mam prapajjante tam sadaiva bhajamyaham. In whatever form you think of me, I am there. You are praying me only. That is the Krishna statement. Therefore, I am essentially putting namaskaram to the Lord. It says, Yadakasho. What is that? Sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam pratigacchati. So yadha kasho patitam toyam sagara gacchata. So all the water is falling out, it goes to the ocean only. So in the same way that whatever namaskaram, it goes to the Lord. Keshavam means, because the Vaishnava I say Keshavam, but it can go to the absolute God itself. So that has to be done. Now, what is this Ishvara? Has to have a clear understanding. Then I can see the world and transact in the world with Ishvara only. Why I need Ishvara vision also? Because when I am transacting in the world, I have notion that I am transacting with this fellow, that fellow, this fellow, that fellow, all that. That's my problem, and I'm getting carried away with the superficial superimpositions. Therefore, I had to know what is that Ishvara, much more clearly. Then while transacting also, in transacting, I am transacting with the Ishvara, notion, understanding comes. Not notion, understanding comes. So what is Ishvara? So how do we define Ishvara? So we have a lot of definitions of Ishvara. People define Ishvara. And God cannot be defined also. God defined is God defiled also. Right? So what is that Ishvara is? Jagat Karta Ishvara, one who has created this universe. So why do you say it's a creation? Then I should first know, I am a very rational intellect. I don't think it's a creation. It came from the Big Bang and all that, all those things. What is a creation? Creation is that which has a perfect order. So that it's because anything that randomly, you don't say I have created. You say it's natural, because that's what entropy is. Maximum entropy is maximum disorder. You don't need to create. System goes into entropy. Maximizing entropy, the system goes. Disorder goes. If you have to put all the chairs properly ordered, there is a creative work is involved. So anytime there is an order is there, work has to be done. That's according to science, at least. Thermodynamics says. Okay? Not only any time there is this one, but this world is continuously changing. It is not just static universe. So not only it's just creation and then left, but it's continuously changing. That means things are evolving again, modifying. Therefore, there is a continuous operation. So any change of state itself, there is again forces are involved, right? That's a thermodynamics. So there has to be some order, has to be maintained, otherwise things will go into disorder. So not only there is an order, there is a creative work, there is a creative in maintenance also in that order. So what is the order? I see only disorder in this. This fellow is a terrorist here, and if you go to India, everywhere disorder only. Even though there is supposed to be government, there is more disorder than order. Everybody is looting everybody else. So that's disorder, right? So we'll come to that later a little bit. But right now we have to look at a global view, not looking at the too close to see. Then I cannot see order. If there is a painting, if I come too close to the painting, I see only dots there. For me, I have to look at behind to see the beautiful creation there. Distant myself to see. So look at the whole universe in the total perspective. So there used to be some. It may be in the YouTube where it's a power of 10. Power of 10. Say it's from small all the way to the Earth to a solar system to a galaxy to a super galaxy, all the way 10 to the power of 24. Keep on showing, and you see, not even the sun, even in our own galaxy, it's only a dot. And Earth is so small there, and we are looking about. This is my place, that is my time, and all these quarrels and squabbles are all in nothing in terms of the totality of the whole universe. So if I have a global perspective, the problems of the day-to-day problems become insignificant. Why do I have to look at it? I think one should see, they say microcosm as well as macrocosm. It shows both at the level, all the way to the electron level or proton level, all the way to the galaxies level, but you see the order there. Everything is perfectly following some laws which are dictated by in which they are behaving. And the author of the laws is actually the Ishvara. So that's what we think. Has to be a clear understanding. Jagat Karta is Ishvara, means there has to be a creative power and a sustaining power, and the one that is changing is also what we call a destructive power, has to be there. That's why all our gods are married. They are not bachelors. Most of them, say the Lord Vishnu carries Lakshmi, maintenance man, right? He has Lakshmi to maintain, but he carries all the time. And Lord Shiva is Ardhanarishvara. He is always Shakti. Without Shakti, he cannot operate. So all the power is with him to destroy. It means to change. And the one creation is Brahma, where the knowledge is required for creation. So these are all symbolic way of representation of that which cannot be seen or represented in any way. And that is the Ishvara. So if I understand that this Jagat Karta, Ishvara is the Lord is the creation, then we have to say, so now we have to see everything is His creation. That is first definition of God. So next is, then where is He? So in all religions will say, He is everywhere, omnipresent, omnipotent and omnipresent, omniscient. So He is the one who is present everywhere. That means that literally Scripture says, He Himself became many. So not only He is the intelligent cause, the nimitta karanam, but He is the upadana karanam, He is the material cause. So any other creation that we see, the material intelligent cause is different from the material cause, because a goldsmith is creating the gold ornament. The goldsmith is different from the gold which is required, material required for creating the ornaments. But goldsmith doesn't become an ornament, he only creates, thank God, and he lives. So, but gold has to be there wherever the ornaments are. So it is from which the whole thing came. So our philosophy, the Bhagavad Gita himself also, Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi. I am the Gati, I am the Prabhu. In the 7th chapter it says, Mayatadabidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. I pervade this entire universe in unmanifested form. And Bhumirapo, Nalo Vayu, Kam Mano Buddhi Recha, all these five, all the Bhautikas, Bhumi, Apa, Agni, all those are coming from me. I am the Dharyate. Dharyate means I am the supporter. And that is, Dharyate means Dharma. Dharma means Dharyate. That which is supportive, that is the real dharma. That is the ultimate dharma. And that's what Bhagavad Gita starts. Dharma kshetre, that is mama dharma. So what is the dharma? That which dharyate, that which supports the whole universe itself, is the Ishvara. And therefore mama dharma is to recognize at least that dharma. What is my dharma is to recognize that which supports the whole thing also. And that is the Ishvara, has to be understood. And what is according to scripture says, he himself became many. So if I have understanding, number one, God is only one, God pervades everywhere, and God is everything also. There is nothing but God. That understanding I have to keep in mind when I am transacting in the world. It is not just a theory. Now I have to be practically, I have to apply. How do I apply? Everything is nothing but God only. So that's why our Hindu system is, we say namaste, right? Say na, maha, so nama, ha, te, na, so maha and na, neither I am there nor you are there, but it's only one that is there. It is the self in me is self in you, is called actually namaste. Okay, we are bringing together two hands, one representing myself, other representing you, and together, and that is the greeting that I am greeting when I am greeting other person. That means I am recognizing the presence of the Lord in you as the Lord in me. So essentially, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hruddesha tishtati Arjuna tishtati. So in every being I am there as an inner course of every personality. When Gita says, then I have to put that into my practice now. So when I say in the morning prayer, when I say bring the Ishvara into picture, you are bringing a name and a form into your mind. But the name and the form is now projected in different forms also. Because that's what he said, I am everything also. So in my transactions, if I keep that in mind, what I am dealing with is the Lord only, in varieties and names and forms also. It is easy to say than doing it. Recognize it. I can recognize the Lord everywhere except in my neighbor. Right? The story starts. Neighbor means, that's why Jesus says, love the neighbor first. Before you start loving other people, love the neighbor, because he's the one who causes a lot more problems than anybody else maybe. So therefore, I had to recognize, starting from my neighbor, is my own spouse to start with, because everything is starting from other than me, right? From then on, I had to recognize the presence of the Lord in that. So therefore, the presence of the Lord has to be recognized. Now it says, this whole universe, the physical universe that I am seeing, is nothing but perfect order in the universe. Now, this is also a training for us to recognize the presence of the Lord in every beautiful things in the world. In the nature, when you go, whatever you see, there's a beauty manifesting. The seasons are coming and seasons are going. Every leaf is beautiful. Every flower, everything is nothing but the Lord expressing in that form the beauty. Oh no, so it becomes the vibhuti. I see the glory of the Lord everywhere as I am doing. So when you are not away from the Lord, because Lord is not now any particular form, because he himself became many, he said. So therefore I can invoke him in a particular form that I want for my prayer, but also I should see in all forms also name I should carry. Form I left it maybe in the room, but name I should carry. I can project the Lord in everything that I perceive in the world. And everything is beautiful if you start seeing the beauty. If you start seeing only ugliness, and then only you say. But if you stand apart and look at in a beautiful, in a total picture, then you see the beauty there. That means you have to tune your mind to be able to recognize the beauty in all these things too. Okay, that I'm just giving you from the physical aspect, from the bhautika, from the external for names and forms. I should be able to recognize the presence of the Lord. Therefore, my transaction also will be different now, because I am already putting this as a part of my transactions if I can. And to the degree that I can, then the action is also becomes a drama of life, where the acting itself is beautiful, because I'm dealing with the Lord. It's fun. Okay, there was one story in the Kanakadas, I think, Kanakadas or something. He was so involved in seeing the Lord everywhere, and he had only bread to eat, and suddenly one dog came and snatched away the bread. So he was running after the dog. Oh Lord, you need butter also. You can't eat the bread, dry bread. So he was running after, and people are laughing at him. What a stupid fellow he is. But we are more stupid to see that he is able to recognize the presence of the Lord even that. What is the sloka? Maybe Ravi can remind me. Brahmana gavi astini. Says samatvam yoga uchyate. Says there is I had to see equanimity in everything. How do I see equanimity? This fellow is different, dog is different, horse is different, donkey is different. The snake who looks like a snake or acts like a snake is different. If somebody acts like a fox is different. How do I see samatvam, God in that? God is there in the beautifying. He is there inside the heart. That's what God's declaration is. I am there. Ishvara sarvabhutanam. In all beings I am there. Bhutanam also. Bhuta is also, even elements also, it comes under Bhuta. Even the beings are also element. So in the elements, I am the essence of it, the very existence itself. In that I am the life principle itself. I am there. So I cannot hurt anybody unnecessarily. Unnecessarily, I said. So if I have a cancer, I have to remove that. That's a separate issue. But that's also for the benefit of that patient only. I had to remove it, right? So that kind of things I can do, but at the same time I had to have a reverential attitude, and I'm transacting in the world as any transactions of day to day. Then only I can be happy while transacting. Now remember, happiness is not something that I'm going to get after. While doing itself, action can only become when I'm acting with the Lord, because that's fun. Just like the game, when you're playing a game, the playing itself is a fun. Whether you win or not. If you say, I will win only $1 million, I'll come, then only I'll be unhappy. Then you are doomed. But when you play the sport, real sport is where you enjoy the sport, then the enjoying or playing itself is the goal. There is nothing else. So life itself is nothing but continuous actions. You cannot but act. Therefore, you cannot but act. But action is not to gain happiness in future, but action is for generating the happiness right there while acting. Then only I can be happy, as the very life itself becomes happiness. And that's where I am happy, not I will be happy. So that can be done provided I recognize the presence of the Lord in my day-to-day activities. So I just gave you an indication from the point of external order. Now if I turn inwards, there is an internal order also. I got to recognize that. Externally, even the body, mind, the body is functioning because of the order. Every cell is in the position properly. Heart is functioning, every system is functioning. And God says, I am the one who makes it function also. So God is there inwards, in the order also, to maintain the order. We put all sorts of junks, that is a different problem. He has to digest and have problems because of we don't take care of the body that we need to do. But from the point of all involuntary actions, His presence is automatically there. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasritaha. Now I have to recognize not only God outside, God inside this body also. So this body is operated by Him. It's part of the actually external body only, because the matter came from them. That's all Annamaya Kosha means. I sustained by the food that I eat. And fortunately, God has already created all sorts of varieties and names and forms. So in the Balavihar story, we have a story, what does God do? So he said, bring a black cow. So they brought a black cow. Bring the green grass. So the milk that, after eating the milk the cow says white milk. It says, how can one, a black cow eating a green grass and making a white milk? That's what God does. So God does everything, so much of things. So I should see His manifestations in expressions in so many ways. So the more I recognize that, so ye etam mam prapadyante, in whatever form you worship me, form necessarily form is a physical form, a form in terms of I can conceptualize God in anything that I am doing is also form, is expression only. That recognition becomes my day-to-day activities. So how does bring Gita in daily life? This is what Gita in there is no other process, because we have to apply what he has taught already. But only problem is we go from one book to other book, another book and book. But when we apply what he taught, then we live Gita. Right? That is one of the aspects. Now, not only that there is an intellectual order in the system, because the intellect, buddhi, operates in the order. If it is disordered, you cannot think properly. So everything is an expression that is built up from a logic itself. So that's why we start child to build up the intellect, so that he can think. Why? There is an order in the thinking. So order has to be learned how to think properly. Not what to think. What to think is different. First, how to think has to be taught properly. So the problem is, most of the education is only what to think. This you think about all information. But we have to train the children of how to think. I was telling Sunil, a few weeks back, I don't know if I told already here, my daughter, 4 years old, she figured it out. Right? She says, all old people die, they go to God. And I said, children are also coming from God. So what does God do? He converts old people into small children and sends them back. So, who told you? I said, I figured it out. That the intellect has to figure it out. What exactly is that? That has to be understood by the process of discipline. Remember we told you the discipline is involved a viveka. Viveka is discriminative intellect. What is right and what is wrong has to be done by the intellect, but that has to be developed by a process. And what is that we are developing? We are essentially unraveling or exposing the God inside, because the Lord is nothing but order inside too. And that is the emotional, the physical aspect, the emotional, not the intellectual, but even the emotional will come back much more. Because how do I control anger? Anger, passions and hatreds, all those negative tendencies are there. So how do I control? I'm giving you a simple, it says you cannot control. Because controlling means an action. I have to control. Now, just as an experiment, please get angry with me now. so can you get angry? You cannot, you please lift your hand, you can do that, right? You may do it, you have choice to lift your hand, not to lift your hand, those are choices. But please get me angry now, or get angry now, you cannot. Because it's not a deliberate action that you can do. So don't get angry is not something that you have control on. So what should I do? Because how do I control anger? Because but some of the people, not only anger, all the relatives in the Kama, Krodha, Roba, Maha, Madhava, Acharya, there are 6 enemies of that. But anger is a reaction, not an action. Has to be understood. Anger is a reaction to something. So I can control that which doesn't produce anger. That's what I have to control. Follow now? So anger is a result of action. So what kind of action it is? So he say kamat krodho bhajayate. That's what Krishna himself gives you how things happen in the mind. How from the kama you get krodha. From the desire you get anger. Why should I get angry from the desire? When the desire is not fulfilled, I get angry. Desire includes desire for people to behave the way I want. Follow? So I have an expectation for everybody in the world. And they don't meet my expectations. Therefore I get angry. Anger, frustration, all those things that are where I am getting it because of the response to the results of the action that is there, where I am not getting the result that I am expecting. Therefore anger. That's why Krishna says kamat krodho bhajayate. So how do I control? He doesn't talk about krodha. You can control the desire. So what is the desire? Don't have the desire. Then you will be angry. But that's also useless advice because I already have them. I already have them. So what should I do? I have a desire and people don't fulfill. What should I? Because people don't meet your expectations. So what should I do? Pull down your expectations. Don't expect so much from them. Because then you won't be disappointed. So Swamiji's statement says, disappointments come to those who make appointments. So if you have an appointment that this fellow is going to meet that expectation, then your expectations can go wrong. So expect that your expectations will not be met also. Be ready. So you have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. That is an intelligent operation. Because the reason is you don't meet their expectations. Because they have expectations about you, but you are not meeting them also. Nobody meets other people's expectations 90% of the time. So expect something that other people to do for you so that you can be happy is an impossible situation. So I should be happy because that's my ultimate goal in spite of things that are there or not. So this is a drama of life. When we say drama of life, where we don't know the script completely. What is the future script? We only playing, and it is a dynamic script that is coming in. Be ready to play again because this is much more fun. If it's already preconceived, it is it's already everybody knows the story. So, but when I am playing a dynamic drama where nobody knows what is their next script because you have to create it. You may expect he's going to say like that and I'm going to do like that and all that. But he may not do that way. He has his own mind, freedom of thinking. So therefore it is, what is it called? Right now you can manipulate or something like that. Online you can adjust it. So that kind of dynamic system, and therefore I had to be prepared enough, my mind, so that there is a emotional thing. So how do I do it? I have the desire, at the same time I should not get angry. That's why we said, act for Ishvara arpitam. Comes into picture, where even though I have a desire for certain things, offer that action to the Lord. Then comes a prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi means Ishvara arpitam. So once I offer to the Lord, whatever comes as a prayer is what we call as a prasada. So we do naivedyam. You don't give prasadam to the Lord. I'm making prasadam. You don't make prasadam. You make naivedyam. Nivedanam means offering. So you offer to the Lord what is offering called naivedyam, and what comes from the Lord after offering means you have to offer first. What comes from the Lord, thank God Lord doesn't eat all that, because Lord, if you start eating, you won't offer him anymore. So Lord gives back whatever, and what he takes is only bhakti. Therefore offer anything that you can. Doesn't mean that don't offer lousy things, because you are offering the one who is the Lord of the entire universe. He is the Lord of entire universe. If President Obama, I don't know, Obama or President comes to your house, don't give him some junk. You want to make something, everything and clean and all that and offer best thing that you have, right? Even a good guest comes, you want to clean everything and present it. And if the Lord, entire Lord universe have come, you are inviting him to come. That's what our prayer starts. Says, Avaha, Ishvara, Avahayami, and please come here. In the temple, he is already invited, so he is already there in that. You don't have to invite, he is already there. He has been invited to sit there for love, forever, for people who are coming there and going there. So he is there all the time. That's why always Jyoti should be there. Light will be there all the time, representing him. And when I go there, I offer whatever I offer. So action itself, patram pushpam palam toyam yomi bhaktya prayachati. Whatever you offer, so first thing in the morning I said, start with the prayer. Then if you have something, first clean yourself because you are approaching a Lord, have a bath and then go to the Lord. So you should have some place where you have that ishta devata in the form where you can recognize when I am entering into that sanctum sanctorum, says I am not carrying all my junk with me, I am leaving all that, only I want to be with him. Junk means all my other relationships. Don't go to the Lord and then start praying, I want this to my daughter, I want this my son, I want all that beggary, you don't need it. He knows before you know all those problems. Because he said he is already in your heart. Before you express it, he already knows. So you don't have to keep repeating that. But when you go to the Lord, yes, I want to be with you. Because he is the source of happiness, source of power, source of everything also. So how do I be? Recognize his presence. So when somebody wanted to see how these Indians going all the way from Kerala all the way to Badrinath to see the Lord. At that time there was no trains and all that, he has to go walk by, and then so it is a lot of struggle to go from by walk, and you have to beg food or whatever, go all the way to see the Lord. So one fellow photographer wanted to follow him. What is that he wants there? So he goes all the way to Badrinath. I don't know if still Badrinath is there now after this one or not. So he goes all the way to the Badrinath and stands in front of him and closes his eyes. Says, hey, why are you closing your eyes? You came all the way to see the Lord. Why are you closing your eyes? You have to open your eyes to see the Lord. But he goes there and puts there and closes his eyes. If you don't want to see, you could have done that in Kerala, sitting there, not all this. Because what he sees, he wants the Lord inside him now. Recognize the Lord in him. But if I can recognize the Lord himself there, then I see Badri there only. So you are first thing in the morning, be in the Badri, where Lord Narayana, because or if Kailasha, whichever Lord that you have, recognize the presence of the Lord in you. So when I take first bath, clean myself, and at least have a Lord where you can do something in whatever way that you express your bhakti. If you know a system, a procedure, do follow the procedure. What is important is recognize his presence not only there but in your heart. It is essentially re-educating your mind all the time, because I keep forgetting the presence of the Lord. So this first thing as a ritual, although it is a ritual, start with it as this is my day starts with the recognition of you. So offer something to him as an indication that this is not just an offering, but in the same slokas where he said, Patram pushpam palam toyam, immediately he says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yatu, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. So not only these fruits and all, this is only training, but whatever you do, offer it to me. Think of me and act, offer the action itself. And then when the action itself becomes a prayer, several things, if I have that attitude, action is not different from what I am doing otherwise. It can be washing my clothes, going to the employee, and getting left and right from the boss also. Whatever that I get, all those is part of the daily activities that go on. That need not have to change. But what changes when I say offering, all the negative actions have to be dropped out, because the Lord will not be there in the negative. Because the Lord says, I am that which supports dharma. Wherever dharma is, I am there. So in the adharma, I am not there. So when anger comes, the Lord is there or not? This is how to control anger. If I can recognize the anger is there in everything, including anger, that is the way to control the anger. Now, how do I recognize? Now, be careful. I'm giving you a clue. At the same time, this is what has to be done also. If I say anger is there, if I can see the presence of the Lord even in the anger also, I am already out of the anger. Because I am seeing anger to see the Lord. I am already detached. Follow that now? There are all other techniques, count 1 to 2, 3, 10, 2, all those things may work, may not work. But this will work. Why? I am saying the beauty even in this anger also. That means I am not angry. Anger is there, but I am not angry. You follow now? It's not that I cannot say don't get anger is a useless advice. Get angry, but watch it. See the presence of the beauty of the Lord even in the anger also. Then comes a situation where I am objectifying my anger, all that also as a part of the vibhuti of the Lord. Then you won't be angry. Anger still comes, but automatically it falls down as offering to Him, because you are able to recognize the presence of the Lord. So here, the things that I have no control, recognize His presence there. I know, because He's the one who is He's the one who provides everything in this world. Dharyate Jagat means Jagat includes everything. There is nothing exclusion of the Jagat, because everything is in the Jagat only. In the Jagat means world. Everything in the world, including both the grosser things that I said, the external world where the order is being maintained and Himself became many. If I can recognize that Himself became angry also, anger also, not only angry, anger also, then I am Sakshi. Remember just now I am a witnessing consciousness, conscious of the presence of the anger in this body, mind, in this mind. Then anger will not get me. I may get angry, but anger will not get me. That's what get angry, but let not anger get you. Because I cannot control those functions which are caused by something other than I am directly. If I can control the cause, then I am controlling the effects automatically. How do I control the cause? Cause is the main cause that Krishna Himself says is the kama, is the desire. First, not to have desires, at least not to have desires for things that are harmful to you, that you can control. If I am a diabetic, don't go to a sweet shop and bakery shop and look at all those things because I am already diabetic. So shama, dama, all those things are required for me to control, so that all the negative tendencies automatically I don't give an encouragement for it. But still, because I am a human being, I am coming with emotional things already. Anger comes. That seems to be my nature. We'll go into the nature of Jivatma later, but that seems to be nature. The only way to see is the presence of the Lord even internally, not only the physically, but He is there in the intellectual order, He is there in the emotional. So everything is in the order only. The fellow gets on order angry. That's his nature. I don't need to get angry, but other fellows are getting angry. He is not thinking of the Lord, but he is getting angry, right? So what should I do? See the Lord getting angry. But don't go and unnecessarily make him more angry. You like peaceful Lord rather than angry Lord. So Ugra Narasimha is very angry. Lord Narayana came in terms of Ugra Narasimha to solve the problem. But Prahalada sees the beauty there also. And he puts the Prahalada on his lap and surrenders, to the baby. He takes care of the baby. Because once I see the presence of the Lord, first of all, I don't recognize that. Then you have a different attitude in dealing with the people. Even though they are making you angry, don't get angry. In the sense that if you get angry, see the presence of the Lord. If they are angry, still see the presence of the Lord also. Because Lord involves the drama involves all sorts of scenes, and some are villains, some has to be, everything is beauty, our Indian drama. The hero and hero meet, they don't immediately meet, they have to go through so many processes before. All the villains are everybody is troubling. Then only in the end Shubham comes. Otherwise people they married and they lived hereafter, happily hereafter. Right? That's the story. But problem starts after that only. So it's not that. So one has to be careful in that. So we go into more details of the mind, because I said things, so I did. Your mind is under your control a little bit. All these things is true, provided I have some control in my mind. Now we go into later in terms of what is my personality, how do I fit into this scheme of things, because this is a description of the Lord himself in the Gita, because it's Yoga Shastra. So he considers all the gunas and all that and analyzes the states and how I can evolve this process, because I have to apply, irrespective of where I am, I have to apply, and that has to be understood also. That we'll go into more details the next class. So now with this we'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Sishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let me stop this before we go.